Hello, hello. Hi, Jan. We'll just give it a couple of minutes before we get started. Feel free to say hi. Where are you in the world? How's the weather where you are?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I
Can
can
you hear
just hear I can just hear you. Yeah.
me? I'm driving.
Ah,
I'm driving back from Aviemore.
oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
Did you have a good trip?
Oh, it's beautiful. I didn't want to leave, but I need to get home to do the stuff. So yeah, heading home.
Hiya, Carol. Oh, it'll be a gorgeous drive back from Aviemore today. It's stunning here in Edinburgh.
Yeah, same up here. It's beautiful. Right, I'll put myself on mute.
Okie dokie. Hiya, Carol. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, all good. Just
All
been
good.
tidying up the kitchen.
You're tidying the kitchen. Jan's driving back from Aviemore.
Oh, nice.
We'll just wait a couple of minutes to see if anyone else is joining. I have realized that this was a very last minute workshop, so it could just be the three of us, which would be fun. Um, Carol, have you got pen and paper? You will need pen and paper. Perfect. Jan, not for you. You're driving, so you'll just have to listen. Okay, maybe we'll just get started. If anybody else wants to join, they can join. So, I'm not doing a PowerPoint today. Let me see if I can put myself on Spotlight. Oh, there's somebody else coming. Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you too. We've got a nice little group today, Yvonne, because this was a bit of a last minute workshop that I threw together. So that's perfect. We can dive straight in. It is
Okay.
being recorded, so you can also catch the replay for if you want to dive into this even deeper and have a little play with everything we're going to talk about. I haven't done one of these before. I normally do like a PowerPoint kind of presentation. This is going to be more workshop style. So, Yvonne, have you got your pen and paper ready to go? Good, good, good. Okay, perfect. So, what I wanted to do today was really give you a taste of just a little slice of the kind of work that I do in my world. Jan, you're familiar with this, so this should be a little bit of revision for you. But I've got a course coming up called Rewired to Thrive, and it's basically brain training. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a little workshop, give you a taster of everything that I teach inside that course, and then you can see if you want to join or not. So, I'm going to do a bit of teaching first, and then we're going to dive into a bit of practice. So, the first thing you need to know is that you have a brain. You have a brain, and it does, well, it's kind of split into two parts. There's the subconscious part of the brain, there's the conscious part of the brain. The subconscious part of the brain does 95% of your thinking. The problem is with that is that we don't know what's going on inside of it often. Um, Also, we have between 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And this is important because it's our thoughts that create our feelings, which create our behaviors, our responses, how we interact in the world, which then creates the results we see for ourselves. So actually, thinking on purpose is really important. It's just that none of us are taught how to do this at primary school. Like we're taught how to read and write. So you've got the subconscious brain. If you think of it like a huge warehouse, like a massive storage facility, and every belief and memory is like a lamp, right? And the ones that are kind of running the show that does 95% of your thinking are the lamps that are really bright. They're turned up nice and bright. They are running the show. All of your beliefs that you've accidentally absorbed between the age of 0 and 8 from parents, from grandparents, teachers, friends, TV. Um, 2 seconds, that's some more people coming in. Um, okay. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Angelique. We've just got started. You haven't missed much. I'm just doing a bit of teaching about the brain. So where was I? Yeah, we've got this huge warehouse, this storage facility. This is your subconscious brain full of beliefs and full of memories. And that is that is the kind of driver, that is the engine, that is what's driving everything. Here's another scary fact. 75% of that, of everything going on in your subconscious mind, that 95% of your thinking, is actually negative. Your brain, our brain, is wired to have a negative bias, which is really, really unhelpful when you are trying to be an entrepreneur. Okay. So your subconscious brain, it has three core jobs. Its primary job is to keep you alive and keep you safe. Okay. But these three core jobs, number one, avoid pain and fear. Okay. Number two, it's to seek pleasure. And number three, it's to conserve energy. So it basically wants to keep you in your comfort zone where everything feels safe and familiar. And the problem is with that, when we're trying to build a business, we are constantly stepping outside of our comfort zone. We are constantly creating new offers, meeting new people, being more visible. And that requires courage, right? Because your brain, it's going to sound a little alarm bell anytime you even think about doing something new and different, anything that's unfamiliar and unpredictable and could cause harm. Okay, so your brain, that's why when we dig into all the limiting beliefs in the subconscious mind, what often comes up, I've noticed, is these kind of three universal fears: the fear of being not good enough, the fear of being rejected or abandoned, and the fear of letting go of control. Okay. So, and it's understandable when you think back to caveman times. Of course, if you were deemed not good enough, you would be outcast from the tribe and you would probably be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. So we have this very old brain wired for our survival in a very modern world. So I believe it's absolutely paramount that we learn to think on purpose. If we're going to grow and have a successful, thriving business, it doesn't even need to be business, anything in life. If you want to meet a soul aligned partner in your life, if you want to, whatever you want to create, if you want to create success, you're going to have to train your brain because your brain is wired for safety, not success. So we want to actually be thinking and feeling on purpose. We are all conscious creators. We have that gift. That's what separates us from animals. We have the gift to actually think on purpose. But like I said, we're not how to do this. We're not taught how to do this in primary school. So most of us, or we're just reacting to life. We're just reacting to life. And we believe it's our circumstances in our lives that dictate what our results are. But actually, that's not true. It's the thoughts that we have about the circumstances that are then continuing to create the emotions and the behaviors, the actions, reactions, inactions, which create the results that we see in our life. Okay, any questions so far? Am I making sense? Any comments?
Can I just ask about you said from things that you'd learned from 0 to 8?
Mm.
Is that the kind of peak sort of laying down of stuff?
Yeah,
A
it's
bit like
like when
Goethe,
our
isn't it?
brains are most spongy, Carol,
Yes,
and we just
yes.
absorb everything. And because we don't have an advanced language skill set, we don't work out the nuances behind all of the beliefs we're just accepting. So as an adult, if we have that level of awareness, we've got the language skill set to work out the distortions that are behind our thinking. But as a kid, we just blindly accept what we hear as truth. So if
Mm,
you grow up with a parent who's telling you you're not worthy, you're not good enough, who do you think you are, like all that stuff, you simply accept it as a fact. You don't sort of question it.
mm,
And that's why these beliefs are so toxic because they're like running the show and because we believe them to be true because they've always just been there. And that's what I feel like we need to remind ourselves over and over again to interrogate our thinking, to not blindly accept our thinking and our thoughts as our truth, but to actually like step back and kind of put on a quality control hat and interrogate our thoughts. Like, is this true? Even if it is true, do I like it? Does it serve me? Does it help me reach my big dream goals? Because the fact is, you get to choose what you think. And that is really empowering. And not everybody knows this, which is why most people feel so disempowered because they feel like they're at the mercy of their thoughts and feelings because we think our thoughts are facts. They're
Mm.
not. A thought is simply a sentence in your head that your brain is offering you, and you get to choose whether to kind of charge it up. Imagine like putting a little, like your phone charger into that thought. If you charge a thought up, it just means you're placing attention to it. But if you can imagine yourself as like a big blue sky, like we've got these gorgeous blue skies in Edinburgh today, and your thoughts as fluffy white clouds, you can choose to see that thought that I'm not good enough or whatever it is, and not plug it in and charge it up. You can let that white cloud float on by. That's the inner work. That's what we're doing here as conscious creators. We're recognizing we're strengthening that awareness muscle to recognize all of the thoughts, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then to choose, okay, I'm going to charge this one up because this feels good. This is a good feeling thought. That one over there makes me feel a bit crap. That's not sitting well in my body. So that's the first job, is to like strengthen that awareness muscle, become really aware of what you're thinking. This is really important. And that's why journaling is so powerful, right? It's just like brain dumping. Just do a little thought download. Okay, this is everything that's just swirling and whirling on in my head today. Because once you put it onto paper, there's actually research into this. It's really interesting. There's research to back up how effective journaling is, because once you pop it into like when you put it in black and white on a bit of paper, it becomes tangible, and it helps you create separation and distance. It helps you step back and see it for what it is. And I love to use the sentence stem of, I'm noticing that my brain is offering me this thought, XYZ. I'm noticing that my brain is offering me the sentence of, who the hell do you think you are? Or you're like, no one's going to be interested in what you have to say. That comes up a lot for my clients who are kind of building an online business. No one's going to be interested in what you have to say. Who do you think you are? And naturally we just sort of sink into that thought, which creates feelings of panic, fear, anxiety, frustration, overwhelm. And from those feelings, we sabotage. We might tweak or distract ourselves, or take the dog out for a walk, or hustle harder, or busy ourselves with other tasks that we think are important, but they're not really. There's like all these different ways, and often quite sneaky ways, right? Like quite sneaky self-sabotage. And then we wonder why we're not creating the results that we want in our businesses or in our lives. Like I said, it's not just applicable to business, this is applicable to anything in your life. So what we want to do is really be onto ourselves. And I like to use a little mantra: catch, cancel, correct. Catch yourself in your like negative self-talk. Catch yourself when you feel a bit disconnected, a bit shaky in your sense of self. Catch yourself and then literally say out loud, cancel, stop, and then correct. So this is where you get to be at choice point. You get to decide how you want to think. You get to decide how you want to feel. And bringing that power back makes you not feel at the mercy of your thoughts or feelings anymore. It makes you feel empowered because you get to choose. And this is where we need to take radical responsibility for our thoughts and our thoughts and feelings and the actions that we take. Because often, what I see with my kind of clients is that they're so quick to blame other people, or like I said earlier, their circumstances. Yeah, but he said that to me and made me feel this way. Nobody can make you feel like anything. And that can be a kind of, a bitter pill to swallow sometimes. Like, it's you. You have to take ownership of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your words. And if you don't do that, then making change is impossible. So that's the first foundation. That's the first step. We have to feel into a sense of like, yeah, this is mine. I might not like it, right? I might not like the way I'm thinking and feeling, but nobody's climbed into my body and made me think and feel this way. This is my reaction to what somebody said, or a message I've seen, or something I've read on Facebook, or whatever it is. So that's the first truth. Like, triggers are always neutral until you attach a meaning to it with your thoughts. Okay, so it's like, Whenever you feel a bit triggered and you feel an uncomfortable emotion, what you need to ask yourself is like, I'm noticing I'm feeling a bit rubbish right now, whatever the emotion is. What meaning am I attaching to whatever the thing is, whatever the trigger is? So somebody might have said something to you, you might have read something on social media, even like a thought can be a trigger for a lot of people, like thinking about, worst case scenario thinking or like fortune telling. So even like that can be a kind of trigger. So it's like what we us humans, we're meaning making machines, right? We always want to make meaning out of everything. So it's like, what meaning am I attaching to this? Oh, here I go again. I'm noticing I'm attaching the meaning that people are going to judge me. And if people judge me, then they're going to see that I'm not as good as I think I am. And if that's the case, I'm never going to get to have what I want. So you always want to go like one layer deeper to uncover all of the belief systems. They kind of come in a little kind of collection, if you know what I mean. So it's like, okay, here's the first thing that I'm thinking. Okay, so let's say that's true. What do I believe about that? And let's say that's true. So a lot of my clients, very high achieving, very self-aware. One of the most common examples is this I'm not good enough fear. And I'm like, okay, well, let's say that's true. Like, let's just go to that worst fear. You're not good enough. What do you believe about not being good enough that makes you procrastinate and, distract yourself or busy yourself with other tasks? And then go from there. Well, if that's true, then that means that I'm never going to get to have what I want, or I'm always going to be alone, or whatever the next belief is. So you're kind of just purging, like just get it all out. Just be totally honest, totally truthful with yourself, get it all out. And then you can step back and start quality controlling. Okay, this is not helpful. This is not serving me. This is not how my best self would be thinking and feeling and showing up. Okay, any questions or comments so far? If not, I'm gonna dig into a little tool that you can use.
Sorry again. It just what you said just then reminds me of Stacey, whatever her name is, decluttering thing where they lay everything out in the warehouse and then
Yeah.
through it and pick through it. It's like, oh, and that what you said just sounds exactly like that. Sounds brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's just like, let's just lay our cards on the table, right? Like, this is everything that I'm actually thinking and feeling. And like, be kind to yourself, right? We're not here to beat ourselves up. And like that, self-judgment is like a super glue. We really don't want to do that. We want to always come at this from like a place of genuine curiosity and compassion. Like, bless my little heart. I'm really feeling scared right now, or I'm really feeling confused, or whatever the emotion is. Let's get it all out on the table and let's see what I need. What do I need to feel better? Now, going back to this model that I'm going to teach you in a second, we need to think greater than how we feel so that we're not stuck suffering in the feeling. So there's interesting research from Harvard on emotional regulation. And this researcher has proven that it actually only takes 90 seconds for an emotion to move through you. And the definition of an emotion, by the way, is simply energy in motion. That's what an emotion is, energy in motion. It doesn't want to stick in your body. It wants to move through you, but it will stay stuck. That energy will stick in your body if you start listening to the stories and the narratives that inevitably your brain will want to bombard you with because your brain wants to be right. So if you start listening to all those stories, all those narratives, that energy is going to not just get stay stuck, but it's going to get bigger. Okay, it's going to get bigger. And that's why people they can suffer in their emotions because they're too busy getting sucked into the stories that the brain's going to want to pour out with based on your past. So it'll be like, yeah, remember there was this one time where your teacher told you you're not going to be good enough, or there was this one time where your partner broke up with you because you're not pretty enough. Or I'm making this up, but your brain will evidence stack by sifting through your past and pulling out all of those experiences you've had in your life to reinforce and back up your current way of thinking and feeling. And then that's where it gets really tricky because you're like, oh God, see, it is true. I knew it. I've got all these experiences to actually serve as evidence as to why this belief, this thought I'm thinking is true. And that's where we've got to dig in, ladies, and really be like, you know what? I'm recognizing now that I am using my past as a template to predict my future. And that's what our brains do. That's totally natural because again, it's to keep us safe. We need to learn from our experiences and we don't want to make the same mistakes again and again. And we also don't want to create a future based on our past if it's not going to serve us. Okay. So just because you might have been made redundant, or you might have had a failed launch, or you might have been given into trouble at school, or whatever it was, doesn't mean that it's unsafe now for you to show up and be visible and to talk about what you're passionate about and to make offers and to serve your clients and to sell or whatever it is. Except in our brains will fight you. It feels to the death sometimes. It's like, gosh, why does this feel so hard? I just want to help people. Why is selling so difficult? Why do I feel this ick around like making offers and around selling things? That was a big story I had for myself personally for a long, long time. Okay, so if you've got pen and paper, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to share a little document that I made, and I can send you this if you feel it's helpful. So this is a nice little, this is not new psychology, right? This is old psychology. And if you're familiar with CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, you might recognize this. But it's a nice little tool. If you're a Virgo like me, you'll like a practical step-by-step tool. And I really like this as a practical step-by-step tool. So it's called the self-coaching model or the thought model. And basically what it is, it's this five-step process which you can take yourself through. So like I said before, we have a circumstance in our life. And the mistake we often make is that we believe the circumstance to be the thing that creates the results in our life, but it's not, okay? The circumstance is the thing, usually external, not always, but it's the thing that we have a thought about. All right. So it's like, okay, I'm having a thought about this circumstance. And like I said earlier, you have a thought and this triggers an emotion in your body. Remember, that's that energy in motion. It's just a chemical vibration, which then drives your behavior. So this can be an action, it can be a reaction, or it can be an inaction. And that's what creates our results. And the results are then, it loops back into evidence for the thought. Okay. So is there anything else I didn't say there? Yeah, so there's a circumstance, factual, usually external. Something like COVID is a perfect example of a circumstance. Nobody was expecting that. So here's this thing that we're all like faced with. That's the circumstance. Okay, what are you thinking about COVID? So obviously with the media, everybody went into a lot of fear and scarcity, but that was nothing to do with COVID in and of itself. That was a thought that we attached to that. Okay, so these are just sentences in your brain. They're not facts. It's like imagining picking up a pair of glasses for every thought. 60 to 1,000 pairs of glasses, that would be a lot of glasses to use in a day. But it is a perception, it's a filter or a lens. And this is the crucial bit. It's like you can change it. You can change it. You don't have to accept the thought that your brain is offering you in this moment in time. Then we have the emotion, the action, and then the results. So, what we want to do for you, if you've got pen and paper, like I said, we want to just get everything out. Just like lay your cards on the table, be absolutely honest about what the heck is going on. Like what is the problem right now for you in your life? So you want to choose a circumstance and then you want to be like, okay, what is the main thought I'm noticing when I think about this circumstance? Now, you'll probably have a few, right? This is why you want to do a little thought download, a little brain dump. And we're going to do this in a second. But you'll notice yourself gravitating towards one main thought, and you're like, you know what, that actually is the main thought that I'm thinking. So you just write that thought down. And then in the next line, the F line is the feeling. So it's like, okay, when I think this thought and I charge up and I put my phone charger in and I give it attention, how does it actually make me feel? What is the emotion this thought makes me feel? And you just write that down. And then in the action line, What are all of the actions, reactions, inactions that you take when you feel like this? When you have that thought and feeling combination, how do you respond? And then you write those down. And then the R line is the result. What is this creating for me in my life? Okay, so here's just a little basic example. If you have an unclean house, that would be an example of a circumstance. And you have this thought, like, God's sake, I've got to get a grip. I can't even keep my own house in order. And that can create a little feeling of shame. And then the action is you clean your house, but you beat yourself up at the same time. And the result would be a clean house, but also a defeated sense of yourself. Okay, so this is just the snapshot of the reality, like how you're thinking, how you're feeling. That's called the unintentional model. It's like your accidental way of thinking, feeling, and responding, but it's just the reality, right? Then what we want to do is we want to course correct. We want to brain train. So what we do next is we write out the exact same thing, CTFAR, our 5 little lines, and we create an intentional model. Okay. So the circumstance doesn't change. You've still got your unclean house. The circumstance is the thing that's out with our control. The weather, COVID, politics, other people. As much as we try to control other people, we can't. So unclean house, still the same. And then you change your thought to, you know what? I've got time to clean my house and I'm actually pretty good at it. And this might make you feel energized and confident. This is completely personal, by the way. There's no right or wrong to a thought and feeling. You just have to try them on like you try on clothes at a clothes shop. You know that feeling when you try on a pair of jeans and you're like, oh, no, like they're not a good fit. And then you put on another pair of jeans and they fit you like a glove and you're like, yes, I'll be taking them. You notice there's a feeling there, right? You notice it clicking. There's a good fit to it. So this is just like trying on jeans. You're like, I have to try on these thoughts and notice an energy shift in your body. So if you're feeling energized and confident, you might clean your house, listen to some great music as well. And the result is a clean house. So same as previous, but this time it's an appreciation of your work. Makes sense? So we're going to practice this in a second. There's a few rules. You want to use one circumstance, one thought, one feeling. Okay, just keep it nice and simple, nice and clean. You can have multiple actions in your action line and just one result. And you don't have to start at the top and work your way down. You can start at any line, it doesn't matter. So say, for example, you're wanting to find some new clients in your business. That might be the result line. And you're like, okay, so what are all the things I need to do? What are all the actions I need to take to sign a new client? And you'd write them down in your action line and you can work your way backwards. Okay. My preference is to start at the feeling line. That's just my preference. And then I can ask myself, okay, so I want to feel this way about this circumstance. What do I need to think to feel this emotion? That's just my personal preference. Don't ever try to do this in your head. It gets really confusing. Definitely write it out. That's why I said bring a pen and paper. And we always start out with the unintentional model first, and then we do the intentional model, what we want to see. So I will share some examples. I don't know if anybody saw my post this morning, but I thought, you know what, this is perfect for the workshop. So let me just share this post that I did this morning. I made up some little architects, archetypes. That's so funny, architects. Um, how do I share this? Let's see if I can do this in my notes. Okay. So if we've got Rigid Bridget. See if you recognize any of Rigid Bridget's. Let me make this a wee bit more easy to understand. So here's an example of, the circumstances. Her sales page needs to go live. And the thought is, oh God, if it's not perfect, everything will fall apart. Panic. Okay. An action for this type of thought and feeling combo would be tweaking, and you don't launch the thing, right? The sales page never gets out there because you're just tweaking it, and tweak it. So if there's no sales page, there's clearly no sales. That's the result. But you could have a different thought. I can course correct as I go. with the new feeling of being calm, for example. The new action is the sales page gets posted and gets feedback and gets sales. It doesn't have to be complicated. I know it can look quite simple. So I did another one for these are sort of like the main archetypes that I see. So rigid Bridget, someone who's very sort of controlling, overthinking Olivia. So say for example, you're wanting to write a social media post and you get sucked into Chat GPT because it's not quite right. And you're like, this isn't good enough. No one's gonna want to read this. Feeling overwhelmed. You're just like, no, say it like this. No, write it like this. Do it like this. The action would be endlessly rewriting or never posting. You're just like, you know what, I'm done. You just walk away from it. The result, therefore, no visibility, no engagement. Okay. So a different thought could be this message, this post is actually going to help someone. Like one person might read this post and it might be really helpful for one person. So new feeling, confidence, new action, just post it. New result, connection and sales. Hustle Hannah. Tell me if any of these relate, by the way. Hustle Hannah had one quiet afternoon, the thought, oh God, I'm not doing enough. Feeling of guilt. Usually there's a feeling of urgency if you're a hustler. That was my self-sabotage. There's a feeling of like this, like, oh God, I've got to do something. It's not okay to take time off. It's not okay to relax because if I drop the ball or if I take time out, it's all going to come crashing down. So you fill your time with busy work, typically avoid selling the needle moving things, and you feel exhausted but you've got no income, you've got no results to show for it, and then you feel annoyed with yourself. So less can be more, right? New thought, less can be more. When I rest, when I look after myself, when I fill my cup, that's when good things happen. I get all my best ideas. I feel brave enough to reach out to someone, make new connections, put myself out there, whatever it is. So it could be this feeling of permission, and you might do three high impact activities. These are just all examples, right? There's no, like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's so personal to you and what feels good to you. Here's the perfectionist one. Your content might be ready to post. You might have it all batched, ready to go. And the thought might be, I'm just not ready to be seen. Fear comes up, fear of being visible. Action, they stay in the drafts. You keep polishing them, but the result is with love, you're a nobody. There's no inquiries, you're invisible because you're not showing up. So again, similar to the previous example, the rewired thought might be, my people need to hear this. This was something that really served me well when I went through my transition from like very, very, very busy in-person practitioner and clinician on my little £60 an hour to moving more into the online space and needing to be more visible. I used this sentence stem, my people love to work with me. My people love to pay me. My people, because I realized quite quickly it wasn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, but for my people, we were going to have some fun together and I'd be able to help them. So you can totally steal that. That was a big game changer for me using that. So my people need to hear this, the new feeling, like purpose. Like, yeah, what if selling can be serving? What if selling is actually a good thing? New action, posting your content, new result, visibility, potentially clients, right? Think how we connected. Like more than likely you saw one of my posts on pretty much Facebook is my office. Um, and then we've got spiraling Sarah. So similar to the hustling one slow business day, your thought is like, oh my God, everything's falling apart, nothing's working. That feeling of panic sets in. The action is you could stop showing up. You just want to burn your business to the ground, get a job in Tesco. And the result is the business actually does slow down because you're not doing the things that you would typically do when you're in momentum. And then the rewired thought is one day is just data. It's like failing, it's just information. Feedback is just information. Mistakes, it's just all information. So the new feeling might be calm, new action, you show up anyway, new result, momentum returns. So it doesn't need to be complicated, any of this stuff, but it does need to feel good in your body. It always comes back to the feelings. And the last one, healing Haley. This is quite a funny one. I see this more often than not. It's when you get stuck in that sort of like, I just need to do some more journaling, or I just need to do my breath work. I just need to do like some more positive affirmations. And so it's so sneaky, this one, because you think it's totally justified. You're like, I need to like be in nature. But actually, it's just another form of procrastination. Sometimes, not all the time, I'm a big fan of journaling, big fan of breath work as well. So, say for example, you need to send a DM, and your thought is, I'm just not aligned enough yet. And you feel this resistance. And so you do another one of your rituals, whatever that is for you. And then the DM never gets sent and you stay small. So yeah, these are all little examples of the thought model. So who is up for actually giving this a go right now? And we can actually do some thought models for you. If you pick a circumstance that you are struggling with, and let's actually like workshop on this a little bit if you've got pen and paper. Oh, Caroline and Carol and Yvonne, they all resonate, all very familiar. Yeah. And it's kind of nice in a way to realize that you're not alone. You're not alone in all these crazy thoughts and feelings. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a whiteboard. Okay, so just whilst you're working on this, I'll just remind you. So the C is the circumstance. Then you've got your thought. Then you've got your feeling, action, and then the result. So remember, you want to write it out twice. You've got the unintentional model, unintentional. Oh my goodness, spell Gemma. And then you've got the intentional. Okay, so it's just the same thing. CTFAR. Another thing to note here, ladies, is that sometimes it's actually the same actions that you might be taking. So a lot of the time, you're like, okay, I need to take a different action, therefore I need a different thought and feeling combo. But actually, sometimes the actions might be completely the same. It was for me, like when I first started learning about this, I was like, but the actions don't change, they're the same. Like how can I expect different results if the actions are still the same? I still need to post regularly, show up, be visible, all the things to have an online business. But what I realized was it was a thought and feeling that needed to change. So my thought was like, I remember this so clearly. My thought was finding clients is like finding a needle in a haystack. The feeling was frustration. And that was the energy that I was pouring into the actions was this like finding clients was like finding a needle in a haystack, frustration. It was like this heavy, hustly energy. And then once I changed that, the thought and feeling to feel exciting and fun and like easy. I wanted it to be fun and easy. The action stayed the same, but because the energy behind the action shifted, like the results changed like so quickly. I couldn't even believe it. So it's like imagining putting petrol in a diesel car or vice versa. Okay, so it might be the same actions that you're taking, but get the right energy. The thought and feelings are the things that create the energy. Okay, anybody want to share or get some coaching on this? Sharon? Yeah, yeah, go just unmute. Sharon's
Yeah.
we need to shout out to Sharon. She's joined us from Australia, ladies. All the way from
Hello,
Perth.
everyone.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. Wow. Oh, nice to be here. Um, yeah, look, I'm the biggest self-sabotager of them all.
Hey, we all are.
Well, I published my book in 2015 and I've not done much about it. I hid it under the bed and that's where it's been. And I'm slowly coming out, but I come out a few times and then I pop my head back underneath the bed and stay there. Basically, that's what I do. Yeah, I'm like that little, I don't know, it's like something in the ground that I pop my head up and then I go down again and hide. And I continually do it. And then I'll go off and I'll get frustrated with myself. And then I'll go out and change my job and think, oh, well, this will fix it. And then I don't go anywhere near my book or what I want to create and all that sort of stuff. So it's just an ongoing revert cycle that just continues for the last 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm tired of the treadmill.
Yes. Let's work on this then, Sharon. Let's use this one. So the circumstance would be promoting your book. Will we call it that?
Sorry, say that again. I'll have to turn it up.
Will we call the circumstance promoting your book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this we're going to do the unintentional model first. Okay, so the circumstance is your book. You want to promote your book. So Sharon, tell me when you think about promoting your book, putting it out there, getting more visible, selling it, all those things, what is the main, we can do thought or feeling, whatever comes first to you. What is the main thought or feeling that comes up for you?
My stomach goes into absolute knots. Terror. It's like terror.
Perfect. So knots in my stomach.
Yeah.
So let's put terror here. Okay, I love how you've described that. Knots in my stomach. So it's really actually really useful to like delve into the physical sensations of those feelings so that you just are amplifying your emotional intelligence by recognizing this is terror. This is me experiencing terror in this moment. I want to throw up or I just want to like recoil and hide in a corner, whatever it is, but it's really useful to get this information. So if you've got knots in your stomach and you feel terror, Sharon, what are you thinking? What is the main thought that causes that terror?
I think it's rejection.
Okay, so what is like literally if you were just to like say the sentence that's coming in your head as you feel into that terror, what would that sentence be?
It's about being vulnerable and it's about me putting myself out there visibly and being rejected or not succeeding.
Okay, so I'm gonna just paraphrase for you. So I'll be rejected,
Yeah.
I'll not succeed.
Yeah.
What else did you say? Sorry.
Fear of visibility, being vulnerable,
Being
allowing,
vulnerable.
yeah, it's
So
the
so
allowing myself to be vulnerable. Yeah,
So that's actually an emotion. So this is really good, right? Vulnerable. That's a feeling, the feeling of being vulnerable. So what thought causes that feeling of vulnerability to you? What do you believe about promoting your book that makes you feel vulnerable?
um, because it is about the book. The book is it, the story behind behind the book, or the
Hmm.
story, the book itself. It is about my childhood memoirs. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay, so what is the thought about somebody reading your book that makes you feel so vulnerable? What are you thinking?
it's a good question. Yeah, that is a good question. I've never asked myself that one. Um, I guess is it? Oh yeah, oh gosh. Can you ask me that question again?
I can't even remember what I asked you now.
What
What
is it
is it?
about? About somebody reading my book. What
that-
is it?
What is it about somebody reading your book and learning about your story that makes you feel vulnerable?
Wow, I don't want people to think that I'm a victim.
Uh-huh. And what if they do? What do you believe about that?
Oh, the first word that came through was bad.
Mm.
Yeah, wow.
And if you are a victim and that's bad, what do you believe about that?
That I'm not worthy.
Hmm. Okay. So just for the purposes of time, Sharon,
Yeah.
this is I can see where this goes, right? Because I've seen this pattern a million times. So it's like usually it's like, oh, I've got this fear of being rejected or fear of being vulnerable. I'm like, and so what? Right? And so what do you make that mean? And that's a very common one. Well, if that's the case, that's true, and I'm a victim and I'm bad and blah 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 blah, then I'm not worthy. If people reject me, then I'm not worthy. So you can see why it's important to sort of brain dump, like just
Mm,
like even if you just wrote at the top of your page, publishing my or not publishing, sorry, promoting my book, and then just wrote down all everything that you think about Sharon, all of the thoughts, like people are gonna judge me, people are gonna reject me, I'm not worthy, like everything. And then you'll sort of notice one thought pop out, and it's probably going to be something around this that oh, that's a typo. I'm not worthy. And if you believe that you're not worthy, and that's what creates the terror and the vulnerability, then of course you're going to hide your book,
yeah.
right? So that would be your behavior is hide book under bed,
Mhm.
get different jobs. That's what you said, right? For the types of behaviors and actions that you tend to take. And so what is that result? What is the result that's being created by that? The book isn't being sold, I take it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the book isn't sold. And
I'm feeling
you're
that in my body. Really, I've got really bad pains in my stomach right now. Oh my God. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
just remember that like we've got it, like I said at the beginning, like come at this with compassion, Sharon. Like bless your little heart. You're just really scared. You're really
Mm,
scared about it being true that if you're rejected, that you'll be that belief, that core belief is then true that you're not worthy. But please remember, this is just a story you're making up in your mind,
yeah.
right? Like imagine, like I always like to think of this, like imagine one of your kids. Do you have children, Sharon?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, imagine one of your kids coming up to you and saying, Mum, I just don't think I'm worthy. You'd be like, What? You're amazing. Of course you are, you know? And we need to talk to ourselves the way we would talk to our children because, like,
Yeah.
this, I'm not worthy. I mean, let's agree. That's not true, right? Of course you're worthy.
Exactly.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
You're worthy
Yeah.
simply for existing, Sharon. And this is one of the most toxic and common cognitive distorted thinking patterns I see. It's called confusing human being with human doing. You are making your sense of self-worth dependent on other people's opinions of you or your successes or failures. That's really toxic. I did the same, by the way. I made my sense of
Yeah.
self-worth dependent on my successes or failures and other people's opinions of you. And when you do that, it's your self-esteem just gets chipped away at, and you get that
Yeah.
shaky sense of self. So what we want to do is make that rock solid, that sense of self-worth, because when you have that, it's liberating. There's like there's no fear of being judged, rejected, abandoned, all those things, because you're like, whatever happens, I've got my own back. It's like self-resourced. You're not relying on other people to tell you you're worthy, or you're not relying on your bank account or your status or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, if we were to do an intentional model for you, Sharon, it would look something like this. So, promoting your book stays the same, right?
Yeah.
So instead of thinking I'm not worthy, we don't need we can start at any line. So let's start at the feeling line just because I'm used to doing that. Instead of feeling this ugh, like feeling in your stomach, this terror when you think about promoting your book, how would you like to feel in an ideal world, Sharon?
Excited, proud,
Perfect.
happy. Yeah.
Excited, proud. We want to kind of stick to one feeling, one thought, but just for the purposes of this, I'll use all three. So if you want to feel excited and proud and happy, and it's that like champagne bubble feeling in your body, and you're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. You're like, I can't wait to get this out there, right? what thought would you need to think to help you feel into those vibes?
Oh, oh. Well, if I go, oh, can I go back to the past though? Because I think about when I first got that book, when it was delivered. Oh, the excitement. Oh, it was amazing. Such a feeling of pride of wow, I've achieved this. I did this. This is mine.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is your story. And so so when you go back to that moment and feel free to close your eyes, how did that feel in your body compared to the knot in your stomach, which you described before? How did that feeling of like, wow, this is mine, this is so exciting. How did you feel that physically?
Oh, overjoyed. I was jumping up and down and yahooing and contacted everybody and took video of myself opening the boxes and oh yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
what we want, right? We
Mm.
want to anchor that energy in. So let's just pick some words. That's all a thought is, right? Like just pick some words, bung them in a sentence to grab onto that feeling that you had then. So what would
Yeah.
you need to think to feel like that again?
Well, it was the excitement, the pride and happy
Yeah.
bursts of yeah, just bursts of excitement. It was like over joy was so much joy. And yeah, I suppose I felt yeah, it was a sense of pride that I actually achieved it. Yeah.
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 Okay, I'm just going to help you out a bit
That
here.
was strong. Yeah, I've done
Done
it.
it. You've bloody done it, Sharon. You've written and published a book for God's sake. How amazing is that?
I know, right?
Yes. Let's big you up a bit here. So
Yeah, yeah,
I've made this up. This is not in stone at all. You need to try this on. So the way you do
yeah,
that is you say it out loud a few times, like, I've done it. Like, I've bloody done it. This is my book. This is amazing. Like, try it on and see if you can feel those feelings, which you have evidence of having before. So perfect. We're trying to anchor that in.
yeah.
And then if that lands, then it's like, okay, brilliant. Like, I feel so proud and so happy and so excited. What actions would you take from this energy, Sharon?
Oh, well, yeah. Get motivated and start making some phone calls or getting it out from underneath their bed and start, yeah, doing some different things.
Tell
Putting
me
it,
specifically. Let's get really specific. If you were to make a to-do list almost, what would those actions look like? Making phone
well,
calls.
I need to be more visible on social media.
Okay.
And I also need to promote my book more. Or I need to, well, I've just created an ebook and a low ticket item. So I need to just push myself to getting them out there and allowing myself to be visible,
Yeah.
putting it out there and sharing it.
And
Yeah.
what result would that create for you when you imagine doing all of that?
Um, well, yeah, I feel that it would certainly make things, it'll change the way I feel. Um, and it's a goal that I want to achieve. So how will it make me feel?
No result, not
Um,
feeling.
pardon?
The result, not
You
the
want,
feeling. What would be the end result if
oh,
you,
the end result. Well,
yeah,
success.
which would
Success.
look like what? How would you know you've actually had that success? How many book sales?
Oh my God, I'd like to have the whole lot of them sold. There's 500 books sitting in my storage room.
Here, 500 books sold, just like that.
That'd be magic.
But this is the thing. It is a bit of magic. And this is what I say to
Yeah.
my clients. we play with in the logic and the magic in my world, right? I'm all up for the strategy, the business model. You've got to have a decent offer, you've got to have good messaging, positioning, you've got to have all the bits, the boring bits, right?
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
magic involved when you can actually think and feel on purpose and create that energetic magnetism. That's what it is. You'll know
Yeah.
yourself, this is for everybody. You'll walk into a room and two people have been fighting, and that's where the phrase, God, you could cut the tension with a knife comes from. You can feel that energy, just like, oh, negative energy. Versus if you've been to a wedding, a baby shower, a gig, a concert, whatever it is, a music festival, you're on a high vibe for days afterwards. You're buzzing. That's all energy. And when you're in this high vibe state of excited and proud, and if you can take aligned action from that state of being, watch the magic happen. Things just happen. That's it's like tuning into the frequency of like a radio station of Magic FM.
Yeah.
The problem is that we're often over here in the crap vibe in the rubbish FM. And we don't know how to change it. And it's not about bypassing any of these uncomfortable emotions. I genuinely believe we're here to experience 50-50. We can't experience sadness unless we've experienced happiness, for example. We need the contrast, but it's about not suffering in it, not
Yeah.
making the stuff mean something about yourself
Mm.
and getting the right fuel in your car, so to speak, to take the actions before the ego comes in and really recognizing when the ego is coming in to say, yeah, but who do you think you are? You're not really that good. Like all the rubbish that we tend to just get sucked into the inner critic. It's like, yeah, I see you and no, like, shh, I'm over here now. It's like brain, we're over here now. This is we're on this track. A lot of people talk about entrepreneurship as this emotional roller coaster, and I'm like, that is so unhelpful. Let's be on a train. We are moving forward all the time, learning, picking up new people, new passengers, new clients. We're moving forward. But this is why it's so important to train the brain, because your brain will want to go, hang on a second, let's pull you back into an old identity of familiarity, which is going to be a negative, some sort of negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Does. Thank you.
That helpful, Sharon?
Yes, does. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Does. So sure does. And do you know what, Gemma? I've actually just before I came here, before I came on tonight, I was actually at a another class and it was exactly the same information.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yes. So I'm getting double whammy tonight. So if this doesn't sink in, nothing will.
The universe is trying to tell you something.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. Don't you worry about that. I can
That's
feel
so
it.
funny.
So thank you very much for
No
that.
worries. I'll take a
But
little
yeah, it's
screenshot.
about staying in that, trying to stay in that high energy too, to push through because it's easy with circumstances around you and what's going on day to day and all the rest of it. You've really got to, yeah, keep pulling yourself up.
Yeah, because nobody's coming to rescue you.
No,
That was
no,
something that came up with a client the other day. She was like, "Do you know the honest truth is, I still believe," and she's like, "I'm in my 60s, but I still have this thought that someone's going to come and rescue me, like a knight in shining armor kind of thing." And I was like,
you can
"Let's
only
just
hope.
acknowledge that. Like,
Yeah,
let's just get that out in the open. It's not going to happen."
yeah, I
You could have
know.
all your friends and family bigging you up and telling you how amazing you are, but unless you believe that in your body, in your soul, in your brain, you will be on the cycle of self-sabotage.
But you know what I want? I don't want all them to be uplifting me and all the rest of it. I actually want the teacher to be there with the crack of the whip and saying, "Get on with it. Come on, let's do this. You've got this." That's what I want. And I want to be accountable to somebody to say, "I did that today. I did that today."
Yeah, well, you need to join my program, Sharon. That's what I do in Thrive. I
Oh.
love this, Carol. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Absolutely. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? And
And I
Yvonne,
talk
not
about that I talk about all of that in my, about life and how we, my biggest message is no matter what life serves us, the difficulties that we face, we all have a choice.
Yeah.
And that's my main message out of my book.
Yeah.
And my choice was forgiveness, and through forgiveness, I found freedom. So, hello.
Hello. You just need a big mirror. I'll just reflect that back to you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, so
Thank you.
good.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Sorry, ladies, I didn't mean to take over the show.
It's helpful though, right? It's helpful to go through a real life example. And I've taken a little screenshot, Sharon, so I can send it to
Yeah,
you. No
thank
problem.
you.
Does
Yeah.
anybody else want to have a little go at this? Does anybody want some coaching on on their thought model? Yeah,
And
Yvonne,
my
let's do it.
belly's not hurting anymore, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yes, so
Good.
that's calmed down. So there you go.
Perfect. Yvonne, feel free to unmute and let's dig into your one. Tell me what's happening.
Yep. Oh, what's happened? I don't know what I've done. Okay. Yeah, hi. Yeah, thanks. So I have a part of me, so the circumstance is that I sometimes feel that I'm very generalized. So for example, one of my things is I want to make a difference in the world. And I want to leave a legacy and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the thought is there are so many people doing this. So I've started going more into social media now, like LinkedIn and places like that where I know my clients will be.
Yeah.
And what's happened is, though, the thought that comes up is there are so many people doing this, and many are like further along than me who will want me. And then I get really motivated, and then I'll like procrastinate or I'll overcomplicate. That's a good one that I do. So ChatGPT is wonderful. So I've got loads of different things that I keep creating and keep creating. Anyway, so what happens is that nothing happens, or I move really slowly, or I just don't make a choice. So I then have like a whole load of things that I could offer, and then that ends up being in overwhelm. And so I've been working with this a lot, and I've been like committing. So I've created like a trademark, and I've like really forced myself to be more focused. The interesting thing is, though, I can feel that underneath it all, I still keep coming back to this. So it's like it doesn't matter how much I keep working with these things, I still keep coming back to the same thing. So I'm just wondering, you know, have you got an idea around that? Like how I can, yeah, how I can kind of break through this.
Okay, let's just slow you down a second,
Okay,
and let's just fill this in one bit at a time.
right.
So I wrote down there. There's so many people doing this. Who will want me? Okay,
Yep.
that's a thought that's coming up. So when do you think that thought, Yvonne? What is the actual circumstance? Is it going online to be more visible, growing your business, finding new clients? What would you label that as?
You mean what triggers the thought?
Yeah, what is the circumstance that you have that thought about?
Mm, well, it can be any. I mean, the underlying thing is I want to make a difference in the world, so I want to leave a legacy. That's the underlying thing behind it. And then it can be anything that triggers it. It can be going online, seeing other people. It can be going to a network event, and then seeing a whole lot of people there. It's like, rather than yeah, I hope like the other part of it, like my people need to hear this. That triggers with that I could feel that, and I do work with those things. It's just that underneath it all, I can still feel that this underlying like thought, I guess, is always stronger than anything else.
Yeah. Okay, so you said there's loads of different circumstances that this thought can pop up at. Let's pick
Yeah.
one. Pick one, like maybe it's online
Okay, well, at the
social
moment
media.
I'm going into LinkedIn and I'm doing some stuff there. So let's just
Okay,
start. That's triggered it again at the moment. So let's say posting in LinkedIn.
perfect. Posting on LinkedIn. Okay. And so you open LinkedIn and then the thought comes up of like, oh my God, there's so many people doing this. Who will want me?
Yeah, because the funny thing is the algorithms that you're often shown are not necessarily people who need your product. It's actually a load of people that are doing what you're doing. It's really
Yeah.
fascinating how LinkedIn does that, or actually, so yeah.
When you think that thought, Yvonne,
Mhm.
how does that make you feel?
Um, I wrote demotivated. I can just it feels like I go on with like high energy and then this all happens and I feel like I'm the balloon, it just like goes
Yeah. Deflated.
just completely deflates.
Yeah. Yeah, I resonate with that. I've felt that before too. So when you go into the balloon deflating feeling, what do you do? What is the behaviors that you do or don't do?
I have a few. So one of them is procrastinate, as in I don't think it's not procrastinating. It's more just like not making any decisions. So that feels like it's procrastinating. Or I overcomplicate. So then I will think of lots of things that I could be doing to make whatever I'm doing better. Or like I go into ChatGPT and I'll keep creating new products. So I have loads of products.
So common, that one. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So, what are the results that you create from these actions?
Yep. So nothing happens, or I move really slowly, or I don't choose.
Okay. And then so there's no new clients, for example, or no new sales or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I might put something out there, I might put some posts out there, but nothing really comes of it then.
Right. Perfect. Okay. So, if we're going to do the intentional model, what would that look like for you? So, the same circumstance, right? Posting on
Mhm.
LinkedIn, that doesn't change. That still needs to be done. So when you think about posting on LinkedIn, Yvonne, how would you like to feel instead of demotivated and deflated?
Um, I think like energized and like I'm a magnet and yeah, so that like yeah, that I'm a magnet and that I work a lot with my energy work as well, so I kind of visualize that I am a magnet and that the right people find me and yeah, so
Perfect. Yeah, like lighthouse energy, right?
yeah.
Kind of like lighthouse energy. Amazing. So you want to feel this magnetic, kind of energized emotion. So let's go thought shopping. What do you need to think to feel this magnetic, energized feeling?
I thought it was that my people need to hear this, but I think it's actually to do with me. I think it's something like I believe in me or something along those lines. It feels like it's
What do
yeah,
you need to believe about you, if that makes sense?
that I can make a difference. I mean, if I say I want to make a difference in the world, then I need to believe that I can make a difference.
Okay, so I want you to say this out loud and close your eyes if it helps you focus. Just imagine there's nobody else here and
Mhm.
just let this land so you can say it a few times and notice how it feels in the body when you say out loud, I can make a difference.
I can make a difference. So it's really low down in my abdomen. It feels like it's yeah, like a lot of nervous energy. And it could be like negative nervous energy, but it could also be positive nervous energy as well. Like,
Is there a like a any form of like block, an objection, a resistance or tension that you feel as you say that out loud?
yeah, here
Okay.
in my
And if
chest.
that feeling, that objection, that tension or block, if that could speak, what is that telling you? Like, I don't want to feel this because
Makes me cry.
okay, because
Mm, whatever it is, it feels like I don't understand it. So, yeah, I don't understand it. That's what's
okay.
behind
And so confusion as a feeling
it. Mm,
is an escape state, right? That's your way of being like, I don't want to feel the actual feeling, and I'm gonna presume it's sadness here. So I'm gonna stay in confusion instead.
hmm.
It's an escape from sadness.
Okay.
So the work you need to do, Yvonne, is like, do I actually believe I can make a difference?
Right.
Like,
I do.
you
I do.
really believe that?
I
So
do.
if you do and you want to believe that, then there's something there that's blocking. There's an objection there. There's something there that's not giving you that. You might be 99% there, but there's a little piece there that's like a bit of sadness, a bit there's an objection to actually fully embracing that you are a category of one and that your people need you because you're an expert.
Hmm.
So what is the objection that's coming up around I can make a difference? Do you have any evidence that suggests you can't make a difference?
No.
No. Perfect. So if you fully can get behind that I can make a difference statement, thought, sentence, does that allow you to feel energized and magnetic, or are you still pulled into that funny energy in your tummy that brings on sadness?
Well, I just had an image. You said the lighthouse effect. I just had an image that it's like, um, it must be something really old about, don't take up so much space, or don't make so much noise. Something along those lines. Don't keep yourself small, something like that. I can't quite work out what it is.
Okay, okay. Yeah, and that's a common one as well. Like it's not okay for women, and it genuinely wasn't, by the way. And when you look at the history of women taking up space, we weren't allowed to take up space or speak our voice.
Mm,
So it's a very common one, and it's a big fear in terms of being visible.
mm.
But I want you to focus here on feeling energized and magnetic. Now, you know what that feels like because you wouldn't have been able to describe it so well. So,
Mm.
what do you need to think to feel energized and magnetic when it comes to looking at LinkedIn and posting on LinkedIn? Does I can make a difference make you feel energized and magnetic, or do we need to try on another thought?
I think I need another thought, because when you were talking earlier on about like energy buzz after concerts, that
Mhm.
triggered something in me. So it feels like it's actually needs to be more physical,
Yeah.
like it's a change of state more than a thought, maybe.
Yeah. But our thoughts can be used to change our state.
Yeah.
But so can imagery, right? So maybe you latch onto imagery more. So maybe you're like, okay, I can imagine myself as this lighthouse, this magnetic energy, and like I can see my people in front of me. One of my clients calls it Taylor Swift energy. She's like, I'm like Taylor Swift coming onto a stage, and I've got all my raving fans in the audience.
Yeah.
Like,
Love
what do
it.
you need to believe about yourself? Like I'm kind of a big deal. I bought my son that as a t-shirt the other day, by the way. I'm kind of a big deal. Well, you are. Of course you are, Yvonne. Everybody is, right? So it's like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. Like I am incredible at what I do. How can you really embody your expertise so that you become magnetic? I mean, leaders go first, right? We're all
Yeah.
here. We're all leaders. So what do you need to think or imagine?
Well, I just remember something that Tony Robbins said once, where he said that he always saw himself as a rock star, but he couldn't sing. So he chose the next best thing. And I mean, he fills stadiums, doesn't he, with like thousands and thousands of
Absolutely,
people.
yeah.
So yeah, so something I'm gonna take that. I like the rock star image.
And what about using that as a thought? Like I'm a rock star.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
And LinkedIn is your stage. How amazing, by the way, that we live in a time where we get these stages for free
Mm,
that we can access people like Sharon in Australia. Like
mm.
what? Like we're in such an incredible time and we lose that, right? We lose that. We're just like, oh, we're focusing on what we don't have when actually we're like, we have the internet, ladies. This is amazing. We get to make money talking to people through a computer. My granny
Mm.
couldn't understand that. She was like, what? People pay you to talk to them? It's like, yeah, I'm actually a rock star, right? Like I've got something really important to say. Now I know you, Yvonne, you are qualified to the hilt with a lot of experience behind you. You've got a lot to say. So if you can get into that rock star energetic magnetism, what actions would you take?
I would just get out there and talk. I wouldn't censor what I'm saying. I feel like I censor a lot what I want to say and how I say it and how I show up. And um, yeah, maybe what did you say, Sharon? Vulnerable, maybe being more vulnerable. Maybe that's, just trusting that not everyone needs to needs to like what I say, but I can still say it.
Yeah. I tell you what, the most engagement I ever get on my posts are the vulnerable posts, the
Mm,
storytelling posts. I want to nerd out and share everything I know. People don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about that. You can access any information on AI or Google now, YouTube,
yep.
but people want to know your story, Yvonne.
Mm,
They want to know the person behind the expertise, right? And they want to know that you don't have all your shit together all the time.
mm,
So no more censoring, no more tweaking on ChatGPT. Be more vulnerable. Just speak into your phone, copy, paste, done. Or do your reel, your talking head reel, and it comes from your essence. The minute
mm.
you start editing, this is the problem. I say to my clients, you've lost your zing. ChatGPT has made you lose your zing. It's like you've lost your essence when everything's so polished and so tweaked, and then it just
Mm.
sounds the same as everybody else. So if you can no more censoring, you'd be more vulnerable and share. I'll just put this is a bit generic, but you know what I mean. Share from your
Yeah,
heart, right?
yeah.
And then what results do you imagine creating from doing all of that? Best case scenario, what would the results that you would like to see happening?
That people just feel drawn to me. So I'm at my best when I'm intuitive. So that's why I struggle very much to create things and make things at the moment. And so my ideal scenario would be that there's like a whole lot of people out there that just appreciate that I'm intuitive and just want to get whatever it is that they can get in that moment.
And what does that look like? Are people DMing you? Are they commenting on your post? Like, what does it look like tangibly?
Well, I guess ideally, this is like like way down the path, but I've started going out into the world as a speaker, so I've been on stage a few times now. So ideally, I think that probably the like the big me wants to get out on a big stage and reach lots and lots of people in one go. And until then, I guess yeah, it's probably things like the what we have nowadays. We have the DMing me on things or
Yeah, but
yeah,
Yvonne,
maybe I just look for stages.
you could be posting on LinkedIn about your events. You could be
Mm,
filling out your events and selling your tickets by posting on LinkedIn. So if that's the end result, and you Tony Robbins Carol says, absolutely, filling out my events.
mm,
That's your call to action. Here's my story, guys. Here's what I've got to say. Here's why you need to be in my world.
mm.
Here's how you can do it. Never leave people hanging on a cliff, by the way. Every single post should have a call to action. There's a tip for you. Even if it's just like, come and jump into my free stuff. Let's have a chat and a coffee on Zoom, whatever it is. But the end result for you, like if you're going down the Tony Robbins routes of like, I want to be on stage, I want to speak one to many, brilliant. Do that. Here's the link. I'll DM you or comment here, emoji below, whatever it is. I don't really use LinkedIn, so I'm a bit rubbish on that. But you get into your Taylor Swift, Tony Robbins energy by, I'm a bloody rock star. And you guys are going to be, I'm literally going to change your life when you come to my event. Like, think about what they're missing out by not attending your event. And it's
Okay,
being,
so that's future me. And I can feel that me at the moment is like going, wow, so it's like, how do you build the bridge? I mean, the one hand is obviously the mind that keep focusing and like, but how do you actually like physically build that bridge?
you take the actions.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what they are, just take them.
It does matter what they are because you want to take the actions towards building your bridge. So if you can imagine a ladder, right, and you've got different rungs on your ladder, and at the top of your ladder is your end goal, and you're starting at the bottom of the ladder. Every rung in that ladder is like another action you're going to take. So
Hmm.
yes, you might want to post on LinkedIn. You also might want to create something on Eventbrite. You might want to do a reel on Instagram. You might want to go to some networking events. You might want to use some Facebook ads. Like there's a million different ways to build a business and to fill an event, for example. But
Mm,
what you need is a slam dunk offer and an audience of raving fans.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like you've got a lot of offers. What you need is the
To
audience of raving
commit.
fans. Yeah, to decide on one, right?
Yeah.
So it's like whatever you're building, and this is not just for business, whatever you're doing, it's like, what is the energy of future me about the me
Mm.
who's about to walk out onto that stage? And how would she be thinking and feeling about my current situation?
Yeah.
Again and again and again. And this is why, like what Sharon was saying, I need someone to like whip me into shape. Yes, you do. Because you can't just say, I'm a rock star first thing in the morning and then magically become a rock star. No, this takes like going to the gym and lifting heavy weights. You've got to, it's the repetition. And I actually didn't get to that part in the little worksheet I was telling you. But when you've done all this work and you've invested in, your little models and you're like, yeah, this feels really good. Then what? Then you have to get to the gym. It's the reps. It's the
Mm.
reps. It's I'm a rock star when you're washing the dishes. I'm a rock star when you're having a shower. I am a freaking rock star when you're like everywhere all the time with the image. If like ideally image, thought, emotion, boom. Rinse and repeat. Yes, Carol, thank you. Yeah, don't underestimate how many times you need to repeat a thought for your brain to be like, oh, for God's sake, right? We'll lock it in as a belief then. Because
Mm.
remember, one of your brain's primary jobs is to conserve energy. When you think a new thought on purpose, like I'm a rock star, your brain's going to be like, oh, no, that's taken up way too much energy to think a new thought. Backtrack into I'm not good enough and who do you think you are, blah, 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 blah. So it's like that's the bit where you've got to grit your teeth, like you're lifting those heavy weights. You're like, you know what, this is actually important, brain, actually, and we're going to use up some energy. And that's why it can feel really tiring. And that's the
Mm.
friction. And that's why people don't do this work because it feels a bit difficult. And then they wonder why it hasn't worked.
Mm.
It's like, well, you didn't get to the gym enough. You need to keep the reps up until your brain goes, right, this is clearly important. She's spending a lot of energy on this. Let's lock it in as a belief. And then that becomes the belief that's recycled and automated in the background.
Mm.
And you have a sense, and people always ask me, like, how do you know when that's happened? Well, you're no longer triggered by the thing that used to trigger you. That's when you know you've locked in a new belief. And you have this funny feeling of like almost like a sensation of forgetting. You know what I mean? When you're like, God, I
Mm.
actually used to I remember those days. Like I used to actually think and feel like that.
Mm.
There's that sensation of forgetting, but don't underestimate and this is why I'm running Thrive, right? Because I want to, as Sharon says, crack my whip and be like, again and again and again, because there'll be moments when you have those wobbles where you're like, Gemma, help. And I can be like, remember who the fuck you are. You're amazing. Keep going. Oh, there's this thought, and we're squishing that or we're shrinking it. Whatever we do, we always want to harness use of language, use of imagination, and get really good at regulating those emotions through like getting hyper awareness about the physical sensations. Like you're very good at that, Yvonne, because I know you work with energetics. So it's like this is what I want to do in Thrive, right? I'll just share a little bit of information before we hop off. But I've done this several times now, this little program, and it's like it's the accountability to get you to implement the things you need to do to train your brain, which is all of the thought and feeling stuff here, but it's the actions as well, right? You need to take the actions because every time you take an action, your brain's like, oh, right, okay, that wasn't that bad. Oh, actually, this is quite easy. It's like when you're learning to ride a bike or drive a car, and you're like, oh my God, so many moving parts. And then once that skill is mastered, it becomes automatic and you feel confident because you have competence. Okay, so it's courage, then competence, then confidence. And most people get that a bit back to front. So I would love to invite you all to join me in May for this little program. It's just a little 4-weeker. There is literally 3 little modules that you can watch in your own time about all of this, right? About the brain, about emotional regulation, and about the thought model. You could binge them in like an hour and a half because the real work is in our Telegram group and on our coaching calls like this, where you bring exactly what we've done in this call today. You bring a situation, you're like, oh God, Jem, I need help with this. I'm like, right, let's do it. We're going to analyze it. We're going to get you feeling good. And then you're going to take action straight away. So it's very results driven. It's very hands-on. It's very practical because you're going to be doing it in real time. So when you notice yourself getting pulled back into those self-sabotage tendencies, whatever that is for you, procrastination, perfectionism, hustle, you can hop into our Telegram group going, oh God, it's happening again. What do I do? And I can be there to coach you on the spot. Okay. So, um, I am going to grab you the little link so you can all have a little look at this program. We're going to start, you'll get instant access when you sign up. It's 500, let me just put the link in here. It's £555, but you can get a bonus one-to-one call with me for the first 5 ladies who sign up, right? And that's worth 350 quid in and of itself. So that's a big bonus. Um, we're going to start, yeah, you'll get instant access to the modules, and then we will start the live coaching calls. What is that, week of the May the 11th or something like that? Hang on, let me pull my calendar up. The week of the 11th, we'll do some live coaching calls, a call every week, just like this, a nice big group call. There's only going to be 10 spaces available, so it's not going to be too big. But like I said, the action comes in the Telegram group where I can do live coaching with you, voice notes. You can take screenshots of your thought models. We can nerd out, we can analyze them. And then hopefully by the end of those 4 weeks, you will really be building some momentum. Any questions about anything before we wrap up? Any comments? Any questions? This has been fun, right?
Thank you, Gemma. Appreciate the session. That was great.
Pleasure. I'm going to take a little screenshot of this thought model for you. I'll pop it over to you, Yvonne. Yeah, it's good. It's good fun, right? Doing these little workshops. No worries, Carol. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see all of you in Thrive. Message me if you've got any questions at all. Happy to have a chat in the DMs if you want any more information. Okay, my lovelies, a cup of tea. It's tea time for me.
Oh God, it's bedtime for me. So
Get
good
to
night,
bed,
all.
Sharon.
Yes, it's 9:30 p.m. over here. So good night, all, and lovely to see you.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much
everyone.
for being here. Okay,
You're
take care,
welcome.
ladies. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.